Hey everybody, Derek Judd here with Cowboy Criminology. Of course, I am your host, the Cowboy Criminologist. So I meant to have this video out to y'all yesterday, but due to a comedy of errors beyond my control, my video editing software was not cooperating with me, so I had to try and find new video editing software. I couldn't get the video that I recorded yesterday to sync up, and I was just having no amount of issues with that. So I just decided to go ahead and just reshoot the video, which is not necessarily a bad thing because there have been some there have been some really good developments as far as what's going on with Cowboy Criminology, and so it's a little before 1 Texas time. And we have 249 subscribers. We've added almost 70 subscribers in the last 30 days, and that's fantastic. Miss Mac, Katie, and Mrs. Garbs, I know y'all do a really good job promoting my material, and I just want to thank you. That's how small channels grow. Is people find them either because they're looking for it or it just happens to come up because of the algorithm that YouTube uses. But however you find out about the channel, a lot of times uh, channels grow because the information gets shared with other people. Uh, so to you three wonderful women, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope that you continue to support the channel, and I hope that today is cool. So we're going through. We watched the original body cam footage of the Sarah Boone, I'm sorry, of the Sarah Boone case, where Jorge Torres or George Torres was found inside the suitcase. And as I'm getting everything set up, okay. There was a couple of things that struck me that I didn't think about in the previous video, and one of the most glaring was that she asked a question about why George was red. And I didn't really think about it while I was doing that video, but it occurred to me afterwards that he probably died of carbon monoxide poisoning. Given the size of the suitcase and the position she stated that he got into the suitcase in, it's very unlikely, at least from what I know so far, that positional asphyxia caused that. But she asked why he was red, and the detectives talked about postmortem lividity and things like that. But it got me to thinking, what about carbon monoxide poisoning? Because when somebody turns bright red when they die, it is a telltale sign of carbon monoxide poisoning, and I'm wondering if that's kind of where we ended up here. And so as we're going through the interrogation and everything, I'm going to kind of tell y'all a little bit about what I like about uh, the interrogation, what I don't like, and just kind of give you my feedback on that. So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to jump right into it. And you should be seeing a picture right now of the interrogation room. And if you're doing an interrogation, it's a great room. If you're conducting an interview, it's horrible. And the difference is this looks like an interrogation room. And this is set up so that people understand how serious their situation is. And when this happens, you often have people your suspects go on the defensive. One of the other things that I don't like is I don't like that all the chairs aren't the same. If anything, if I'm the officer conducting the investigation, I would want to be in the green chair because I don't want to move. I don't want a whole lot of distractions or anything. Some people might disagree with me, but I can always pick that chair up and move it closer or further away, whatever I need to do. And the reason I'd want to do that is I want my suspect to be sitting in a chair that helps to illustrate or exaggerate their movement. So I'm in a regular office chair similar to the one that's sitting on your screen right now. And you notice that you can see me move. You can see me rock back and forth. You can hear the chair creak, one thing or another. Part of that's the chair, part of that's just I'm falling apart. But that type of movement is heightened in a stressful environment. And so as an interrogator, I want to be able to sit there and I want to be able to make notes about that, especially when I go back. I want to be able to uh, I want to be able to look at those times of stress, especially if I don't get a confession, and figure out what line of questioning was causing them to exhibit the most signs of stress. You can tell the room, man. It looks like there's been that room is well used. It looks like furniture's been thrown all over that place. Uh, as far as their interrogation room goes, it's sparsely furnished, just a notebook, 2 to 3 chairs. I do like the table, and I like the table because it's not a traditional box, so it doesn't give the suspect or the interrogator a feeling of definitive space, like this is what separates me from you. And I really kind of enjoy that, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I like that. As far as the interview room, I want the interview room to look like a place where people can just meet and talk and converse in a low stress environment. It should almost look like a waiting room, um, to get people to talk. And I've been trained in both forensic and cognitive interviewing, and uh, they both have a lot of strong points, very few weak points, and you can use them interchangeably, whether you're dealing with a suspect, a witness, or or a victim. But I want my interviews to start off non-custodial, meaning they have the right to leave. Um, None of their constitutional rights have kicked in because they're not in custody. Okay, and I like that because I want whoever I'm speaking to be able to open up to me, and I want to get them committed to a story before before Miranda kicks in, or their constitutional rights. And of course, the Miranda warnings are named for the 1960s case out of Arizona, um, where officers are required before questioning a suspect to notify them of their right not to incriminate themselves, of their right to retain counsel, the right to terminate an interview at any time, those types of things. And a lot of people think that just because an officer talks to you, even if an officer arrests you, your constitutional warnings don't necessarily kick in. If I arrest somebody and I want to talk to them about something that doesn't have anything to do with why they were arrested, I don't have to Mirandize them. Uh, in fact, I had one individual. His entire defense to his arrest was that when I put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of his vehicle, or in the back of my vehicle, that he wasn't Mirandized. And The judge, the prosecutor kept asking him, well, did he question you about the arrest, why you were being arrested? No, but that doesn't matter. And they're like, well, yeah, it does, because that's when your constitutional protections kick in. And so that misunderstanding affects a lot of people. And so it's part of, don't believe everything you see on TV. Now, as far as the setup, one of the things that I like to do is I'd like all my furnishings to be the same. As far as all the chairs being the same, one thing or all the chairs being the same, because if I guide somebody into an interrogation room and I tell them where to sit, a defense attorney could argue that my actions, my choice of words, my tone of speech, one thing or another, have rendered this a custodial interview, even if Miranda doesn't apply, or even though I'm trying to do a custodial interview. And so if I can get this individual into the room and I'm trying to keep it non-custodial, I'm going to make sure that they articulate how they got to wherever we're meeting at, if it's the police department, sheriff's office, completely neutral location, that they were either given a ride from a friend, a family member, they drove themselves, they walked, they rode a bicycle, teleported, however they got there. I want to show that they made a conscious decision to meet with me, that they weren't under any obligation, they weren't threatened or coerced to meet with me. The other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that they know how to get from the interview or interrogation room out to the front lobby if they're not under arrest. And if they're not under arrest and they understand that they can leave at any time, that'll be the last time I mention that, okay? Because if they sit in there and talk with me and they confess to involvement in criminal activity, I don't want a defense attorney coming back later and saying, oh, well, you didn't read Miranda, my client. No, your client was free to leave at any time. Your client just chose to sit there and continue talking to me. The other thing is when I bring somebody into an interview or interrogation room, especially if I'm going to be dealing with a particularly violent offender or somebody who has this very macho, I'm the man, nobody tells me what to do kind of thing, they're going to walk in, they're going to want to take charge of the interview and interrogation, and I'm not going to let them. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to do something very, very subtle. I'm going to tell them, hey, go ahead and just find a seat. Really, I want them to take the chair closest to the unlocked but shut door. Of course, I'll explain that the door is being shut for privacy purposes and it's unlocked, and they can get up and leave at any time. But whatever chair they pick, I'm going to tell them it's the wrong chair, unless it happens to be the one closest to the door. In that case, I'm going to move on. But I'm always going to have another officer outside to make sure that if my suspect tries to run away, there's somebody to apprehend. But let's say, for example, so you got the green chair, you got the comfortable office chair. I tell the suspect, yeah, come on in, just go ahead and pick a chair. It doesn't matter where you sit. And I see him going for the office chair. I'm going to say, oh, except for that chair, because that's where I'm going to sit. And it's gonna disrupt that OODA loop, the ability to make rational thought and judgment and action, because now he's thinking, well, this is the chair that I wanted to sit in because this is the power chair. This is the center of the room. This has the most authority, whatever it is. But if you destroy that OODA loop, it throws them off their game, and that sense of uneasiness follows. So the OODA loop, you will hear military and law enforcement personnel use that term a lot, and it's basically a 4-step process to how human beings make a conscious decision: observe, orient, decide, and act. And if you disrupt that OODA loop anywhere along the chain, in order for that person to proceed with another action, they have to start back at observe and then orient, decide, and act. And if you keep somebody off of their game, you keep interrupting that loop, they can consistently have to start over. So that's just a couple of things that I see kind of right there, a couple observations from the video. And so let's go ahead and let's watch the interrogation, and let's see what we got.
I'm going to have you sit in the green chair that doesn't move.
Sit in the green chair that doesn't move.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yes, ma'am. And I want to ask you about these whenever we have a moment.
Sure. So obviously, he received his autopsy. So I'm going to read you your rights again because we have to talk about that. And since I'm talking about the incident, we just have to do it, just like we did yesterday.
Protocol?
Just like we did yesterday. Remember I read you the rights?
Yeah.
Your rights? Yeah. So it's the exact same thing, but since I'm asking you follow-up questions, I need to read them.
This is the
okay?
second interview.
All right. So
Interrogation.
you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say may be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer before and during questioning without charge. If you cannot afford a lawyer and want one can be provided for you before questioning without charge. Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to talk to me?
No.
And do you understand what I just read you?
I like that.
Perfect. Okay. So this morning
So
we
that
went to
one
office,
statement right there, has anybody
and
promised you or threatened
we were
you,
informed of some injuries
that takes
he
away
had
any
by the
issues of
doctor.
consent,
So,
coercion, one
I
thing or
want-
another. This shows that
so he's got
Sarah Boone has voluntarily
scratch marks to his
come
back.
in on her own.
That's wrong.
That is a great
And,
addition to
it's
the
called a
Miranda
contusion,
warnings, the constitutional warnings.
So like
I
basically
really
getting
like
hit,
that.
and then you get a mark from it. You'll get bruising, like someone hit you or something like that. It's called a contusion. So he had some injuries to his left shoulder. He had a cut near his lip. We could see his mouth was a little
I haven't laid a
swollen.
hand on him.
Okay.
I bet you do.
Also, too, he fell off my son's bike,
Okay.
so I don't know. And he's notorious for running into the wall or the hall tree, so
Okay.
I don't-
What about the scratches? Because
Sex.
there's also sex.
Yes.
Okay. Because there's also like a scratch on the back of his neck, kind of but it's going straight across.
I have no idea what that's from.
And they're all recent. They occurred recently. It wasn't something that occurred post or that occurred a week ago or 2 days ago, 3 days ago. They definitely occurred, the night leading up to when he was
Explaining injuries
All honesty.
and giving plausible explanations for the injuries.
That's why, the only thing I thought you guys were going to ask me about, which I was going to be honest with you anyway, are the scratch marks on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, I have no idea what it is. No idea what it is. Nonetheless, I've had my son over the house, too, so...
Well, your son was there when? When was he last there?
Oh, gosh.
From my understanding, he was there last Tuesday?
I don't know if it was Tuesday, but yes, he was there last week.
In all honesty.
Well, we're talking about Sunday. Yeah. We're just talking about what occurred Sunday. Because like I said, the injuries they occurred within that time period.
So you're talking about day before yesterday?
Sunday leading into Monday. You called us yesterday at 1, but the incident, you guys were painting and stuff the night prior.
Correct.
So we're talking about Sunday and then into Monday.
thoroughly confused because we had a good time sitting on the back porch, having wine and smoking a couple of cigarettes, and then decided to go inside and literally paint, do puzzles, and play, and listen to music. That's why nobody got out of sorts. This is what's mind-blowing to me. Like, I have no clue. Nobody laid a hand on anybody.
He also had, like on the left side of his forehead, he had basically bruising, and on like his head and his skull.
I have no idea.
As if something hit him.
I
considered
have not
force
touched him.
trauma.
I have not touched him. I have not touched him.
Then how would you get those injuries?
Tell me and we'll both know. I have not touched him.
Yesterday,
Okay, so
when we took photographs
stop at 4 minutes. She's telling the detectives that she's contradicted herself. She doesn't know how he got these injuries, but he's notorious for running into walls. He fell off her friend's bike. The only thing that she admitted to was scratching his back, scratching his back during sex. But if you look at her hands, she's doing a lot of open communication. Palms up, showing the palms. It's the human body's way of communicating. I'm not a threat. I have nothing to hide. And I don't know what to think about that. We haven't really gotten deep enough into the interview to really notice anything, but we're already noticing that there's contradictions in her statement. We're noticing that she doesn't know how this happened, but then she provides plausible reasons that they could be there, but she doesn't know for sure. That type of behavior, throwing out those type of comments, and then displaying that type of body language, they're contradictory. You're telling us one thing, and then you're throwing your hands out. And when words don't match actions, trust the actions. Okay. But there's a definite saying she doesn't know how something happened, and then showing open body language. That's something that people who learn how to lie, you might call them pathological liars, will pick up on. Hey, if I do this, you have to believe me because I'm not hiding anything. The other thing is, in all honesty, to be honest, unprompted professions of honesty should always throw up a red flag. Okay. In the last video, when I talked about her ex Brian, I mentioned that some of his speech pattern raised suspicion. And as a matter of fact, Brian's ex-wife commented that she didn't think her husband had anything to do with it, and that's not what I was implying. But part of doing a good investigation is understanding why people use speech the way they do, why they display the body language that they do. And a good investigation should take suspicion away from somebody. And in this case, that would be pretty easy to do. But the reason I brought up the oddity of Brian's pattern of speech was because in an investigation, it is something to look for, okay? Everything in an investigation should be considered suspicious until you can work through it and decide whether it's somebody's normal way of acting or whether you need to look further and start considering them a suspect, okay? So we're going to pick it up here at 4 minutes, and let's see what else we've got.
Overall body, and they did the buccal swabs, did they go under your fingernails?
No,
Okay, are you willing to let us
absolutely,
swab underneath your fingernails?
go for it.
Okay.
I have no idea, and I don't want to seem out of sorts, but I have no idea. We had a good day.
Mhm.
It was a good day. We've had good days lately,
Mhm.
even considering everything that's going on with our jobs and life in general and ex-wives and everything. It's been good. Like, I don't even know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
said
even
the
know.
last physical was probably, you said, I think, what, a month ago? Where you got the injury, right? You said that was a
I'll
month
say
ago?
a few weeks.
2 days after the
Yeah.
fact?
A few weeks. That was the last, like, physical altercation
That's a miss.
between the two of you? Yeah,
Um,
you said a month ago he hit you with a curtain rod.
yeah, with the curtain rod. That's why I can't believe you guys didn't take that either.
Wow.
Like, we've been good. I don't know if, like, it's since the last time he got out of jail. Like, we've been good, and he's been having his classes
Mhm.
and seeing his probation officer, who's amazing. So,
What do you mean by good? What's your definition of good?
the
'Cause
probation
if he-
officer,
No, you said you guys have been good. What's your definition
I've
of
been good. I don't think you all understand. He comes at me all the time. He comes at me. So it's either I flee or try to go upstairs and go to sleep. That's usually what it is. And I don't know if you talked to Brian about any of that, but most of the time when I flee, I go over there. So,
Right, but you're saying that you guys have been good, and when I asked you yesterday, there hasn't, the last incident that you could remember was the curtain rod incident, which you said was a month ago, so.
give or take.
Good question.
Right, so what do you mean by he comes after you, like?
He gets belligerently drunk.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know if you all have looked through my phone yet and seen any of the pictures
Okay,
or
stop it
videos
there
that
at
I have
6.
taken.
Okay, did you catch that? Okay, what's your definition of good? It's a great question by the detective. What's your definition? Well, now all of a sudden it's, I've been good. I've been good. And so now everything's falling apart. It's like, well, you're saying that everything's been good and you haven't touched it, or there hasn't been any physical violence, but now it's back on her. Well, I've been good. I've been good. And so it's getting harder and harder to really try to be on her side. And because she'll say one thing and immediately contradict herself. And that is something that those contradictions are things you need to key in on. One of the things that I'm kind of looking at is when you have somebody who's they've got an idea of how they want everything to go, and Sarah Boone really seems to want these officers to just accept everything she says on face value, like most suspects. But these very subtle inconsistencies those are the things that's the provable lie right there. That's the thing you go after. That's the thing you attack. All right, so let's pick it up.
And at one point, I started documenting everything.
Okay.
So you all will see in my pictures, bloody fingers, split foreheads, he split my nose. I've got this.
Right.
I don't know if Brian told you about it, where I had to have I had one really bad surgery, but then it got really, 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 really bad, where I had to go like 4 or 5 more times afterwards.
Give or take. That's vague.
And poking me in the back of the leg.
Right.
So it's,
Then why are you still with him?
everybody asks me that. When I tell you guys this, I really love him. Like I do. And I feel like I can help him. Like I feel like I could help him, which I did, because he came a really long way from where he was in Philadelphia to moving back to here and to dealing with everything else that he's been dealing with.
Mhm.
I've really helped him. I've bailed him out of jail, 3 times. I've gone to every single hearing and every single arraignment, everything that I did for him. Gone to see all his public defenders, go to the state. I've gone to the state. I did everything for him because I'm trying to help him, because I have.
Okay, stop it there at 7:10. Okay. Normally, I would say that asking a question like, why are you still with him, is a bad question. But if you go back and you listen to the detective's tone, it's more fatherly, it's more caring, it's got a lot of compassion in it. And so that's a great example of a bad question being asked in a really good way. And I don't know, I'm kind of curious to see what kind of fruit, if anything, this is going to yield, but let's take a look.
Hope in him. And he was trying. He was really trying. And then he starts to think about things, and I think he gets overwhelmed, and then it's like, the next thing I know, he's drinking. So it's like, oh man, I know where this is going to go, so I'm going to go upstairs and read a book, or I'm going to go for a bike ride, or I'm going to do something else, where I don't want to drink. I don't want to drink. The occasional wine, whatever.
Agitation's increasing.
That's when you have a good time. You don't have to wake up the next day. I have to wake up the next day and do things. I have to tend to Lucas. I have to take him to school. I have all this stuff to do. He doesn't know how to, I guess, maintain himself, where I can do 50 things at once and still know the 50 things more.
Stop it there at 8 minutes. Did y'all catch that? Okay. I know it's hard to see. It's a super grainy video. Not the best interrogation footage I've ever seen. But if you're looking to design and interview an interrogation room, you want to make sure the camera placement's great. I've got no issue with that. The camera quality is suspect. But one thing that I'd want a jury seeing this to see is when she starts crying, she starts getting emotional, and then she stops. And there's nothing there. It's a very hollow. It's an act. It kind of reminds me of Sally Field. That's kind of her trademark, doing the crying in tears thing, and then flipping out into something else. She's almost trying to do that same thing where I'm going to break down, I'm going to gain my composure. And one thing I wish the detectives had done is put a box of Kleenex just out of arm's reach of Sarah Boone. Because if the tears were real, the detective could reach over, grab a Kleenex, and hand it to Sarah. But there's no sniffing. When you start crying, you release mucus in the sinuses. You do that sniff. Tears start streaming down the face, and we're not seeing any of that here. So even if you don't have a good, high quality, high resolution video camera system, that box of Kleenex would tell the jury a lot. Well, did she start crying in the interrogation room? No, she didn't. Were we not listening to her cry? Well, crying is usually associated with, the loosening of mucus in the sinuses and, watering of the eyes, and none of that was present. So that can tell a jury a lot. All right, so we'll pick it up here at 8 minutes.
Prior that I need to get done. He can't process like that. He didn't process like that. So he would literally, not literally, but have smoke coming out of his ears. So the next thing you know, he doesn't want to deal with it. I'm going to go get something to drink. So the majority of the time, I would hang out outside or do something else because I don't want to drink. And every time, his job broke his heart. And it made me sad because he had so much pride in his job. And the store that he took care of so much totally went downhill. Mm-hmm. And that broke his heart because he had put so much work and effort into fixing it up. And his manager was awful and basically gave up on all of the employees. So I think that had a huge bearing on why he would drink so much. His ex-wife is bonkers. Mm-hmm. She was all over him all the time.
If you made a drinking game out of every time she said "I,"
how can I send you money when I
you'd
don't
probably
have a
end up
job?
with cirrhosis before the end of this video.
To take care of me and Lucas by paying a
bill here or there, getting some groceries. So he always had something on his mind, which is why, again, I got the puzzles and the paint to try to get him off of it so we don't have a drink, or he doesn't have a drink. So when you all see my phone, you can see all of the damage he has done to me and the videos of him smashing my television because he's belligerently drunk. Where most of the time, I just don't want to be there. And I try to help him. I try to calm him down. Eventually, he just passes out.
Well, yesterday it made it sound like you guys were just drinking like a glass or two. Like, yeah, you obviously had the bottle, but you told me on recording like that you were not drunk, he was not drunk, you guys were having a good time.
I can't get drunk. Number one, I do not
Stop
want to get drunk.
10 minutes and 4 seconds. Okay. So she's giving explanations to why he drank, to all the stressors in his life that contributed to the volatile relationship. But then it's back to what she was doing to make things better. And did you catch the crying again? It started up, it was going, she was getting very emotional, and then boom, she made that turn, and she's fine again. She's back to being composed. All right. If you look at the female detective, her body language is very closed off, almost like she's already made up her mind about how this is going to go. And you know, there's nothing implicitly wrong with it. I prefer the posture of the male detective, leaning forward, being more interested, being a little more engaged, instead of the authoritative, nothing you're saying makes sense. So when you're in this type of environment, your facial expression, your body language, everything you do sends a message. Make sure you know what you want to communicate.
I don't like being non-complimentous, having my wits about myself. I don't like feeling out of control.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm just saying you're making it sound like he's a raging alcoholic today, and yesterday I was kind of asking you those questions, and you're like a little defensive, like, no, we're not alcoholics.
I'm not.
We are not, you know. But you guys were both sober on Sunday, to your knowledge, because when I said you went and passed out, you were like, no, I didn't pass out, I just fell asleep. So now it's kind of like, what is it? Were you guys drinking and it got out of hand and it got physical?
No.
Or is it...
Sunday was one of the better days that we have had in quite some time.
Uncompass mentis.
Dancing with my dog. You can see that too on the pictures, him loving the dog. He loves the dog and dancing around, having a good time, and just being happy kind of thing.
Good follow through.
He doesn't know, I can get like maybe 2-3 glasses of wine and I'll be fine. But I have to have my wits about myself because I don't know what to expect.
Well, let's talk about Sunday. What was Sunday? How were you, like, how many glasses of wine did you have? How many glasses of wine did he have? The bottle was gone. I mean, I don't know if you poured any out. Yes.
No, that was from previous.
You said that there was a half bottle left
over.
over.
Yeah, about this much.
And then that you had wine, well, I don't even know how the wine, how'd you guys get the wine for Sunday?
I'm guessing he went to Publix.
Does he like leave the house and you stay home, or do you go to Publix? Like, cause
sometimes I'll go with him.
Okay. Did you go with him Sunday to Publix?
So most of the time what happens is, because the convenience store where we get cigarettes is here, and then Publix literally is cattywampus to it.
Okay.
So what he'll do is he'll start, go by Publix, and then on the way back, catch the convenience store.
Okay.
So
is that what he did Sunday?
I'm guessing that's what he did, because the next thing I know, he's walking in with a bottle.
Okay.
So it's him trying to be nice, so I don't have to go out and do it. Plus, there's stuff that are around the house that I had to take care of. So that's usually what will happen. Or I'm folding laundry and he'll go run out and do whatever.
Okay. So, where were you guys at on drunkenness, not drunkenness on Sunday? You told us you weren't drunk.
No, I was not drunk.
Right.
I was not drunk. So with him, I don't know. I know when it's like, oh, okay, man, where I have told him, slow down. It's starting to catch up with you. Slow down. Slow down. And another thing, too, is I don't like listening to music with him because he gets too involved in the music, and the music that he listens to is a little rough around the edges, and, like, just, it makes me fractious listening to his music. So I kept asking him, let's just you and me talk. You and me will just be the ones that are talking, which was fine, because, I mean, we were playing with the dog, whatever, and then it's like, okay, now let's do the painting. We just did the puzzle, took a break, now let's do this. Sure enough, sat down, we're sitting in there talking, laughing, talking about new movies, we're watching movie trailers while we're doing painting and all that other stuff. So it's still background noise to him, because I think that's what he's used to, is having background noise. Where me, I can sit in here all day with not a peep. But he always has to have some kind of background noise, which I didn't mind because the trailers were cool. And he was interested in showing them to me, getting excited about movies that were out or upcoming.
Okay.
So
on your laptop you're talking about?
Mhm.
Like, okay.
And I mean, and then it was.
But you said it was a good day. Like, you guys didn't have any conversations about your relationship. You guys didn't go down like the rabbit hole, like had too many to drink, and you guys start getting.
Nope. When I tell you this, it made me so happy that he actually listened to what I had to say. With just, we'll get through it. This will be fine. It's just, it's a small hurdle that you and I together will get through, because.
I'm talking about the money, jobs,
daughters. Yes.
Nothing
No.
relationship-wise, though. Like, no issues. Like, did you guys have a conversation about your relationship, or was it just about
just
like
what's
the
going on right now?
Got it.
I try to evoke it from him so he gets it off his chest, because I call him the volcano, where eventually he's going to erupt.
Right.
And what he has learned in his classes is to communicate, which is a huge thing in a relationship,
right.
where he has been practicing communication. So he actually talks to me about things and unburdens himself. Put it on me. I'll sit there and try and figure it out for you, like I have almost everything. Not a worry, just
It's a
tell
lot
me,
of stress.
get it out of you.
Right.
But it was, when I tell you, I was so happy. Like, it was such a good day. I kid you not. The weather was beautiful outside. I'm the one that had him go inside so we can do puzzles and painting and listen to music or whatever else he wants to do. So then he starts doing whatever it is we're doing together in the living room, and then starts talking, because I think he gets comfortable with, okay, you know what, we're here, it is a good day. Let me go ahead and explain myself. So I know. Nobody else knows, but I know. Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah, we just don't, I mean, it's
Nobody knew him
unexplainable
better
how
than
he
I
got
did.
these injuries, and
I have no idea.
you were the only one with him.
100% right hand to God. I have no idea how he got them. Nobody touched anybody. Nobody touched anybody.
Okay. You had mentioned that you would take photos, videos, just kind of like a proof and just in general.
Where are the
I was
tears?
documenting at one point, but that was way before, I think, the last time that he got arrested, where he was flying off the deep end.
Okay.
But then I had him bailed out. I got him out of jail.
Right.
But because he had violated the pretrial diversion, this time it's probation, so you don't have a choice in it. You have to go to see your probation officer.
Unsolicited proffer of honesty.
Court-ordered. Where it took him a while to get used to it and understand, they're not messing around. I even went down and met his probation officer, which I say she's wonderful. That's one of my questions too I need to talk to you about. Hugged me and said how much she knows that I take care of him. She called me personally one time when George was at work, when he was working. 42-minute phone call. She and I just saying how grateful she is that George has me.
Okay, stop at 1802. Surely I'm not the only one who thinks that's weird. You're in this volatile relationship where you start documenting acts of domestic violence almost nonstop, but then after the last time he was arrested, you stopped doing that? Interesting. Let's pick it up here at 1802.
She knows how hard I'm working to help him, just as she is, and just as the classes will. So once he started actually going on a regular basis to the probation officer, and then to his substance abuse class and his, I don't know what BIP stands for, Matters Intervention Program, and actually listening to what it is everyone had to say, he changed. Like I could see a change in him, where before lashing out, he would think about it. And would always come home and show me his papers, and we would look over his papers together.
If you're looking for a provable lie, that would be a good one.
Actually, you're learning this in class? And some of the stuff that they would show them, like videos, he would come home and be like, Sarah, I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. Because for a video that he watches, to make him feel that way, where it's like, oh man, I have done her wrong. But he's changed. He changed.
And that's why you're still with him, even though he's done all these things to you. And
when I tell you I love him, I love him.
Even when you love somebody, you have limits.
Everybody tells me that. All my neighbors still tell me that. The office, property manager.
At some point, somebody gets enough, and then they have to do something to defend themselves.
I would just flee, and I don't know if you would like to see it on my phone, or I think it's actually on a laptop. I actually, because, and you have to understand too, I have, like, prior to classes in PO, kicked him out. How many times? I had him arrested. How many times?
But you also went down and bailed him
I
out
know.
the next day.
I know.
What's on your laptop?
What was I going to tell you? Oh, previously, I actually looked up how to file a restraining order.
Okay.
Because I would take him out, his parents, because of them constantly having to take him back in, his bags of clothes, all his stuff. The last time, the father came out and irate and just not even, I don't even know if he knew Lucas was in the car. Just opened the back of my car and started throwing all his crap in.
So, once again, we hear that crying, and let's give her the benefit of the doubt that she's able to get a hold of her emotions quickly, okay? Even still, most people who start to cry in a high-pressure situation like that, when they feel like they're being attacked unfairly, sometimes they're not crying because they're sad or they're hurt. They're crying because it's anger. And so I'd at least expect to see her doing that, and I haven't seen it. So the male detective seems to be doing a really good job letting his partner run the interrogation, and when there's a lull, he asks another question, which kind of gets things back up and going. So, that's pretty good. I like that. They seem to work well off of each other. So pick it up here at 2030.
Throwing it. Like the car would jostle, he was throwing all his stuff. At that point, because I continually did it, not continually, I think I maybe did it 3 times, and he has nowhere else to go, they got fed up and said, nope, either you're staying there or you're staying here. But if you're staying here at their place, it's permanent. You're not going back over there anymore. So what happens is, he pursues me. So I don't know if you all know where Katie Way Trail is. Okay, so it's literally right there from our apartment. Would ride his bike to work, but before he would leave extra early and come up to the wall, stand on top of his bike and poke his head over because he would know that I would be outside having my morning cigarette and cup of coffee. And I would also know too what time he would get off of work, where I would know, come getting off of work, he's gonna do the same thing. So it's not like I ever got like a break from him, where I told you all yesterday, or whenever it was, I started to feel that it was too much togetherness. And when you have too much togetherness, friction happens. So I'm going to go ride my bike. I'm going to go upstairs and read a book. But what does he say? Every waking moment he wants to be with me. So, and mind you, our townhome is either upstairs or downstairs. So it's like, if you would like to sit downstairs and watch a movie or play on the laptop, look up some jobs, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to be upstairs maybe watching one of my shows or maybe reading a book. So, and then when that would happen, we really needed that. So what's for dinner? And then we would cook together and eat dinner and then crawl in the bed and watch a movie.
Are you talking about this is like recent? I don't know, you kind of like lost me. Like what are you
It was
talking about?
a little while ago. But I mean,
now you're talking about tension building up and that you need space. So have you been feeling that way lately or?
No.
Okay.
No. Okay, my thing is too, so you all know, I hate that you can't talk to her, but Dee, his ex-wife, when I say a monster, she's a monster. Like she withholds their children from speaking to him. So he gets upset about that, and then she like completely berates him about money, about the father that he is, what he did to her, all this other stuff. It doesn't matter. I mean, mind you, this has not like been recent, but which is why he didn't even bother calling anymore, because he knows that she's going to answer and he's going to have to talk to her, so therefore he can't talk to his daughter. The other time he talked to her, made her talk to Cookie. That's on my cell phone too, so you can see it.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
That's convenient.
Like, it doesn't matter.
What does she have to do though with anything about what happened Sunday and into Monday? Like,
no, I'm just saying, like, previously, why the incidents would happen is she plays a big part in it.
Okay.
On top of job and money and groceries and all that.
Okay.
Sunday, when I tell you this, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Is there anybody else at the house?
No, it's just me and him.
Since talking yesterday, do you remember any like timelines better? Like what time you guys were playing? What time he was zipped up in the luggage? What time you went upstairs?
We started because we cleaned the house a little bit. Did
Good
some
job.
laundry.
You started the activities around 4, you said?
Yes, around 4:30ish, and then.
You just said that it was dark when you were playing hide and seek, and I'm just curious if you remember.
But when we were outside, that's where we would start and talk about things, and then eventually I was the one that had him come inside so we could
About
do
what
stuff.
time, do you remember what time that was, is what she's asking.
Because you said you went up to bed around midnight, fell asleep around 12:30ish. But those are the only times I have. So I have 4 and I have midnight. So there's a big gap. So I'm just curious, like, if you recall when you went upstairs to hide in the shower or...
Like when we started to play hide and seek?
Yeah.
Well, we went inside probably about...
All right, stop it there at 25:02. Okay, remember when I talked about superfluous detail? The detective asked a specific question, and she goes into, oh, well, we started cleaning the house, and the detective gets her back on track. You said it was around 4 o'clock, which she admitted. And she's like, oh, yeah, it was around 4 o'clock, and now she's going back into it. I think the female detective is doing a good job kind of keeping her on track. It does seem like she's starting to lose patience with her, and it can be very difficult, even when you're not interrogating somebody, even when you're just trying to get information, and people kind of circle around on you to things that have absolutely nothing to do with why you're there or what you're there for. And I always hated taking reports, and it starts off with, well, it doesn't have anything to do with what happened today, but in order to understand what happened today, you have to understand what happened 30 years ago. And then you just kind of sit there and you just throw your head back and you're like, this is going to be 4 hours of my life I'm never going to get back to get like maybe half a paragraph of usable information. It's one of the amazing things they don't tell you about in the police academy. All right, so we're back here, 2502.
If I had to guess, we weren't out there too long, maybe about 6-ish. Then.
You're talking about from hanging out outside and like.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, we have 2 beach chairs that are out there and
Right.
just enjoy the weather.
Gotcha.
Plus, it started to get dark and gnats and mosquitoes.
Yeah.
So, let's go inside. I don't want to be out here anymore.
Okay.
All right, let's go. So we're doing whatever. We did it for a while because that puzzle, I don't know if they took it or they saw it. Worked on the puzzle again, finished it, started to paint. Well, started to listen to music for a little bit. Started to paint. Can we turn the music off? No problem. Start at the top, paint, whatever. Maybe, gosh, that puzzle, we worked on that for probably a good hour and a half. So 8 o'clock-ish?
Is when you went to hide upstairs originally?
No, that's when we were like painting. So then it's like, okay, well, I don't want to paint anymore. Let's just, come on. Okay, you want to play hide and seek? What he does is, okay, tag, you're it. So it's like, okay, we know. Okay, take off.
Mhm.
That's what we did.
And then you went upstairs, and then he didn't come up, and you came down, and the suitcase was there originally because you guys were planning to do donations, so it was already there. Have you guys ever played you said you played hide and seek like probably 3 times in your relationship?
Mm-hmm.
When you have played, have you ever zipped him up in a suitcase prior?
No.
Okay. So it was just kind of like that prop was there, and it was there,
Yes.
and it was in play because...
Why do you say it like that, though?
I would never do that.
You would never zip them up in a suitcase?
Well,
I mean, we were playing.
No, I know,
that
but
time,
I'm talking about hide and seek, which is a game, so...
The suitcase originally is in our closet, buried all the way to the back. If you, I know the CSI people saw our closet. Our closet needs to be cleaned out really bad. My son's clothes need to be cleaned out really bad because they don't fit him anymore, and I'm tired of looking at them. So he took it upon himself, including that suitcase, to take it downstairs so we can get all of our clothes, our donations and everything, and just leave the whole thing by the clothing and shoe thing at my son's school.
Gotcha. No, I'm just...
Okay. Great catch by the male detective. Why did you say it like that? What he noticed? No. Yes, that vocal inflection that she got. And I love his tone, I love his demeanor. But why'd you say it like that? That is a huge catch, and you can kind of see the look on her face. She's kind of like, so they're getting to that point where they're starting to kind of get to the truth of the matter. They're trying to figure out specifically. They started really broad, and now they're working back towards what's more consistent with what they know about the timeline. So we'll pick it up here at 27:29.
Asking, in the past, like...
All right, 27:29.
Have you
Here we go.
ever zipped him up in anything, jokingly or not, but obviously
No.
I understand, you're claiming that Sunday it was a joking matter. You were laughing,
Yes.
he was laughing. But what I'm just asking is in the past, like, is it something
Absolutely
that you
not.
guys normally do?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
We were actually this last game running out of places to hide because we had a counseling upstairs or downstairs. So.
Okay, so do you remember making any videos or maybe having any photos, videos that you remember doing on your phone on Sunday?
No.
No?
I think I took a picture of a dog.
Okay. But your phone is password protected, you have the password, he has the facial recognition, so it's not like someone else could be on your phone.
No, I have both. But
You have the face and the password.
Yes.
Yeah, but he only has the face, correct?
no.
To be able to get onto your phone, you told me
Vocal
that he
inflections,
looks
pay
at the
attention to
phone.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking if I did.
absolutely
Yes,
not.
it's me.
Okay. Does he have access to
Pay
your phone?
attention.
Yeah.
2834.
Okay, how does he have access?
Sarah, can I borrow your phone? Yeah, it's right there on the kitchen counter.
Okay, but how does he get into it, because it's password protected?
He'll come and get it to me, and I'll just do the face thing. Where sometimes too, like he's, look, he'll joke with me and say, okay, I need to borrow your phone. And he'll hold it while I'm cooking or doing something, do the facial recognition.
Okay, so he doesn't know the password and he doesn't have the facial recognition.
No,
But he is the only other person that would use your phone, I'm
Yes.
assuming, other than.
well, Lucas.
Right. But Lucas wasn't there Sunday, and, right. So, to your recollection, no videos on Sunday?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I thought I maybe took a picture of them, the two of Tess and
The dogs.
George and them dancing, but I mean, it's just Tess.
Mhm. Okay. So I have something that I want to show you that we found, and it was from your phone.
Mhm.
Can you see it?
If you need to move it around, go ahead.
No, I don't remember that.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Your battery's off bad.
Shutting.
Superfluous details.
Oh.
Telling you.
Okay.
Let me,
The battery doesn't last very long.
it used to last a lot longer than that, I don't know what happened.
Okay. Let me just grab something.
All right. No, I was just simply asking, because, you had a look on your face when she asked you if
Yes.
you've ever done that before.
Yes,
You
the
looked kinda
provable
shocked.
lie.
No.
The provable lie. At 30 minutes and 28 seconds. Let's see what they've got.
I don't
I hope they don't
think
bury
you
the
all
lead on this,
understand
because
who I am,
there's nothing worse
where
than,
Well, tell me.
well, you get all excited
I've always
about
been a straight A student.
about seeing something good, and then you
an
get let
outstanding
down.
mother to
So
my son.
let's see what this is
excel
going to
at
be.
everything. I would not do that.
You wouldn't zip somebody in a suitcase?
Well, I didn't completely lock it. I mean, I opened it with one finger. I left enough in there for him to get out.
Okay.
And I wasn't planning on going upstairs and going to sleep.
That's your big concern. Your battery's about to die. So you hear somebody saying Sarah, Sarah, and then you hear for everything you've done to me. Yikes. Pick it up at 30:58.
Is it long? Because I don't know how much I can take.
No.
I don't know how much I can take.
I don't know how to find your.
Do I have to watch this? I continuously throw up. I don't sleep. I don't want to see it, if that's okay.
Well, it's on your phone, and you can either explain it or we take it for what it is.
Yeah. We're just trying to give you the opportunity to tell us what's going on.
At everything?
That's it.
It's that long?
2 minutes.
No.
For everything you've done to me. For everything you've done to me.
Okay. There we go. At 31:56. Another inconsistent statement. It's been, I didn't put him in there. I didn't put him in there. I'd never put him in there. And then it's like, well, I didn't zip it up all the way. Inconsistent statements. So there we go. There we go.
And this is, that's
Pick
you.
back up.
Oh, stupid. Sarah. That's my name. Don't wear it up. Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me. Sarah.
I would stop right there. 3225. The female detective. Well, it came from your phone. Don't you want to know what's on there? Two completely different personalities as far as the detectives go, but I think they work well together. Let's all right, so we're gonna pick it up 3225. Let's see where this goes.
Last time we talked to you, you had said that you put him in the suitcase, he had 2 fingers hanging out, and you
I
went to
flipped him
bed.
over. I flipped him over, and that's where it was.
There's 2 different videos and a still picture where, yeah, it shows you flipping him in different positions, and him saying that he can't breathe, and you saying fuck you.
So this is upside down. So in
Okay,
order
let me
for him
explain
to have
something right
gotten
here at 3252 real quick. Okay. She's been read her Miranda warnings, but given that she has been Mirandized, she can still ask for counsel at any time. She can decide whether or not she wants to continue answering questions. If she decides that she wants to quit answering questions, she could ask if she's free to leave, and that would force the detectives to either let her go or place her under arrest immediately. But for somebody who understands her rights, she certainly doesn't seem to understand the concepts behind utilizing them, which for a law enforcement officer is great. For a defense attorney, not so much. All right, so picking it back up, 3252.
to it,
It was flipped up.
right, it was flipped up normal.
Yes.
Like as if you're packing something. So this is upside down.
Guys, this is killing me right now.
So this image is upside down, and then this small video that occurred 11 minutes later, it's flipped over the other way, closer to your dining room table.
Okay.
Now he's obviously still in there. So he didn't, how did it go from the back to the front?
I flipped it.
Okay.
My plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep,
Well, that's what you did.
Yeah.
but not intentional though.
No, you told me you went upstairs because
Look,
you were
Stop
getting ready
here.
for bed.
stopped here.
Okay, but
Where's here?
show me where you can see any fingers coming out, because there's the end.
It's, and his head's right here.
Mhm.
So going like this, rather than going all the way up, it's like this.
But why is he saying I can't breathe?
That's
and
what
why
you
is
do
he
when you choke
pushing
me.
on it as if he can't
Said I
get
can't
out?
breathe.
And it doesn't show a hole.
There's no
gap.
hole. There's no fingers. I don't see his fingers. There's no hole.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you.
I'm just showing you. I'm just telling you what we see and what we've heard from the
I
other video.
understand. I understand.
He's begging for you to let him out. You're laughing in the beginning, and then in the end, it sounds kind of like a.
No, it's not malicious.
Well, saying fuck you,
It's not malicious.
then what is that?
What does fuck you mean to you?
Well,
Like if I were to tell my
like he
partner.
does. Like, I get called everything but a white woman, so
Okay.
my intention was not to leave him in there. Please understand that. My intention was not to leave him in there.
But you went upstairs thinking
Whoa.
that he could get himself
Yes.
out, but the video shows
That's
at
what I
no
told
point
you.
can I see his fingers, and
He'll
it
be up
looks
here any
like,
minute.
and then 30 minutes later he didn't show.
And he's telling you,
And I
he
didn't
can't
wake
breathe.
up.
Do you
He's
think
not
he's
able to get
joking?
out.
You told me he was laughing, and I
Okay.
We were
the
before.
video there's no
When he
laughing.
first got in there,
Okay, stop that at 3515. So she's been denying this whole time. And then we're getting little bits of half truths. And now it's, well, I didn't intend to go up and fall asleep. So it's gone from, I have nothing to do with this, to leaning towards it was an accident. All right. The biggest problem she has right now is she was saying that it went from that she didn't zip it up, but now there's proof that she's manipulated the suitcase, does that explain the bruising? Maybe he was trying to get out. Maybe scratched himself trying to, because if somebody can't breathe, it's not uncommon for them to scratch themselves. But now it's this whole thing is just a giant misunderstanding, and she's just painted herself into this horrible corner. And that video right there, those pictures, those do not play well. They don't play well with the detectives, where they can sit there and say, hey, you know what, we've all been there, it's happened to everybody. What they've essentially established with this is intent. Why he was in the suitcase, her complete indifference to the fact that he can't breathe, and she just keeps going back to everything you've done to me. I can't breathe. Yep, that's what it's like when you're choking me. All right, let's pick it up here at 35:15.
Both of us were.
So how long was he in there for? Like, this video is at 11:12 when it starts, so was he in there for like a long time prior to recording this?
No.
So it goes from funny to no longer funny,
but
you're the only one laughing.
But I didn't think that he was, like, panicky. Like,
So pushing up on a suitcase saying, Sarah, 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 I can't breathe.
George has done that in the past before, too, where it's just, like, he thinks that he's woe is me kind of thing, where it's like, I don't
He's never been locked in a suitcase, that's where he couldn't get out, so.
It's kind of, I thought it was
and
the
you know
boy
the oxygen
crying wolf kind of thing.
Okay.
And again, my plan.
But nowhere in there is he laughing, is he joking, he is begging. And you're the only one laughing.
Okay.
And you're the only one saying derogatory comments, like you're mad.
No. Please don't, I don't mean to sound negative, and I don't know if I can say this, but, like, it's like you guys are kind of trying to, like, feed me. Like.
No, I'm just trying to show you a video that you no longer want to watch because you probably don't want to know the outcome of how and what you said.
Well, I know what.
You know what's on that video now?
No.
You remember making that video?
No.
Why don't you remember making the video?
Probably because we had been drinking.
But you weren't drunk.
No. Just because I went upstairs and, just
You
because you're drunk doesn't mean that you.
told us times that you were not drunk. You said that you had your wits about you. You said he had his wits about you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you don't like not having your wits. In my experience, if somebody cannot remember doing something to the extent of making 2 videos and taking a photo, they are intoxicated.
Okay. I understand where you all are coming from.
Well, we're just trying to make sense of it. We're trying to figure out what you're saying.
We're trying to figure out this video.
You explain it to us. We're listening.
I just did. Like, we were playing, and then, like, I thought it was, my plan was not to go upstairs and go to sleep. My plan was not to, he'll be up here any minute.
But you willingly went upstairs and went to sleep. No one forced you to go upstairs and get
My
ready
plan
for
wasn't
bed.
also to leave him in the suitcase.
So why didn't you take him out?
Because I went upstairs, and then I fell asleep.
But why didn't you consciously think, he's asking to come out, he
I
can't
didn't do it
breathe.
intentionally.
What do you think is going to happen if you leave somebody in a confined space like that?
Well, I thought by not zipping it up all the way, it would be okay. My plan was not to leave him in the suitcase.
What was your plan?
Waiting for him to come upstairs.
And then when he did it?
I fell asleep.
You said you were up there 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, somebody not coming up.
Knowing that the last time you saw him was in the suitcase, 30 minutes later, you're like, maybe I should go check on him, maybe I shouldn't?
No.
Well, that didn't cross your mind because it didn't happen.
That's like an assumption. Like, that's what you all are thinking. Just.
We're asking.
It's the whole.
You tell us.
It's the drinking. That's what it is. It's the drinking. I thought it was, like, I thought he was okay. Like, I didn't,
He's telling you he's not. He's telling you, Sarah, I can't breathe. He's saying your name, and you're like, that's my name, don't wear it out.
Guys, that's how we are with each other. Like, nobody understands our relationship. This whole suitcase thing, Never happened before.
Would you leave someone else in a suitcase? Would you leave Lucas in a suitcase jokingly? Because it was a
No.
joking matter. You put him in there jokingly. Would you leave Lucas jokingly in there? And you love Lucas, right? And you love
I wouldn't
George.
do that to him either. I wouldn't do that to him.
So, I just...
Well, it's not like, again, I don't think you all understand. Like, it's...
That was sharp.
It's not that was not my intention.
Well,
y'all don't have any idea what
by
I've
your
done
acts,
for
though.
him.
But by your acts, and that's exactly right. You get to the point where you've done so much for somebody and they don't show you
No.
any appreciation.
He did.
Not by your words in the video. I don't get that.
He did.
Because you bring up the fact that when he's choking you, you can't breathe. That's how you felt when he cheated on you. You couldn't breathe. And you verbally several times told him just fuck you.
Well, you said it in the video, but you won't let us play the rest of it because you don't want to...
When I say cheating, it's on his phone.
Okay. Cheating is cheating.
I think so too.
Exactly.
It's your definition of cheating though, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's what the word cheat means.
And that's what you told him in the video. That I couldn't breathe when you cheated on me.
Okay.
No.
That's how I felt when he said,
We're going to stop that at 40:30. Okay, so nobody's drunk, nobody's intoxicated, nobody's non-compos mentis, to use her words. But they were impaired to the point where George didn't realize that he was in danger, and it didn't occur to her that after 30 minutes, she needed to go check. Y'all, I almost don't even want to go any further with this because I cannot imagine it's going to get any better. But you know what? I'm down the rabbit hole with y'all. A bunch of y'all have commented on the last video about how you're addicted to this case, and shame on y'all. You got me addicted to it too. So let's see where it goes. Pick it up at 40:30.
And you told him,
I don't know what you... This is...
What would you say if somebody told you that they had done this?
Direct quotes. Love it.
Zipped somebody in a suitcase and went up and went to bed.
Do you all not think... So you all think that it's like, oh good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you guys are trying to assume? Or trying to, like...
We're just, the video is very portraying of the opposite of what you told us.
No.
It is not leading up, it is not matching what statement you gave us in the car.
So,
and that's why we want to know.
And I don't remember doing those.
The injuries are not consistent with what you've told us. So we have a lot of inconsistencies, and this video explains itself. It really, truly does.
You don't think that I have thought about that?
Thought about the video, or thought about...
But no, again, if you don't mind, please. So you all are assuming that it's like, oh good, I got him in there, now I'm going to go to sleep? Is that what you all are assuming?
Well, it's not an assumption when that's what you told us that happened.
That's what happened.
And the video... Yeah, I mean...
But I'm not going to say...
You thought he could get out on his own. But the video shows that he can not get out on his own.
But when I unzipped it with one finger.
From the outside.
But it had the hole in it.
And you're claiming that it had a paper clip, so that's what assisted you in doing it.
No.
Is what you told us.
When I had my sweatshirt, I said I thought it had a paper clip on it. It's got...
But the zipper part is broken.
Yes, which is why we were going to zip it.
Yeah.
I just...
You were able to unzip it from the outside very easily, because that's the way they're designed.
But you could on the inside, too. I don't know how...
Well, why wouldn't he have gotten himself out if he could?
I don't know. I don't know if he saw, where the hole was. I don't know.
I didn't see a hole.
No one
I didn't
sees
see
a
no
hole.
fingers
You're the
sticking
only
out.
one that's what I'm saying. Like, he's in one position, and where his head would be, we should be able to see fingers. And then when it's flipped over onto this right side, again, his head is closer to us facing the video, so we should be able to see fingers, and we don't see anything. We see no movement of him trying to unzip it or physically unzipping it. All we see is pushing up, trying to push out of it.
Please do not assume.
I'm not assuming. I haven't assumed anything. I follow evidence.
But my intention was not again, oh good,
So
I got him
at
in there.
4315, the detective asked about the video, which she has claimed up to this point to have no knowledge of making. And then when asked about it directly, she keeps trying to you know, neutralize, rationalize, and justify her actions, just like any other criminal. And when you're sitting here watching this, it's I wondered, because a lot of you have referred to Sarah Boone as a narcissist in the comments, and just the little I'd seen in news clips and stuff like that, I never really understood where you were coming from with that. And after watching this, I'm like, I made the comment about, if you turn this video into a drinking game, and every time she said you took a drink, you'd have cirrhosis by the end. It's not even a 2-hour video, and this constant, you don't understand. She keeps trying to make herself out to be either the victim or the hero, depending on the line of questioning. And in any case, she's not doing herself any favors. She's contradicted herself about the events of the day, about the amount of alcohol, about whether she was impaired or not, or being non compos mentis. Um, she is all over the place, and I feel like normally I have a pet peeve about detectives talking over each other and asking multiple questions and stuff like that. So here I think things are kind of falling apart, but really to get to this point, I think they've done a pretty good job. I mean, if there's anything they should have done up to almost 45 minutes in, I don't really know what that could have been, but um, man, I I'm sitting here in my head trying to think of, okay, is there any kind of defense I could make for this? And I'm just like, nothing's coming to mind. Well, and I think there are 8 attorneys who are thinking the exact same thing. So pick it up.
I'm just going to go to sleep.
What do you think someone that knows nothing about this or hears just a little bit, like, oh, they were playing around in a suitcase
She's been drinking
and then watches
probably
that
went to
video?
sleep. That's what happened.
But you let him out before. I mean, you put him in, so why didn't you take him out?
Because I was upstairs and I fell asleep.
No, before you went upstairs. You, like, consciously had to walk upstairs. You obviously remember going to bed because you were able to give me a time frame on that. And you specifically told me that you went upstairs.
My intention is not for this to happen. I am sick about it. I've never done anything like this before in the past. I am sick, especially with that. I thought I couldn't sleep last night. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. You tell us the last night, you vividly remember this when you told us last night, that he was laughing, you were laughing, you put him in the suitcase, he has 2 fingers sticking out, and you go to bed. Now we see something totally different, and it actually shows you upset and, again, using derogatory terms to him when he's begging for his life to get out of that suitcase.
So
what
my thing
you
is
say
that
we're assuming, we're not assuming, we're telling you what's on there.
So it just happened to be that whenever I was videotaping or doing whatever else it was, just happened to not have that in it.
Okay. And you also, in the video, you can't see any holes. There's nowhere in that where the zipper separates and you can see a hole. If there's a hole, he's pushing on it, begging you to get out. We should probably see that hole that
He
you're
essentially
talking
would have
about.
been able to get out.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Based off what you're telling us, he should have been able to get out.
Okay.
But the video shows him attempting to get out, begging to get out, and he can't. So that's just what we're trying to figure out. I don't know if maybe you had too much to drink, you zipped it up all the way, and then,
I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay, well.
I did not zip it up all the way. horrific, okay? Horrific.
It is terrible.
Yeah, so they lost their life.
Horrific. I don't think I'll ever be right because of this. Ever be right. Dealing with everything else that I have in my life, personally, and then this,
Okay.
whom I loved, it was not intentional. I will put my hand on the Bible. It was not intentional. I would not do that to him nor anyone else.
But you did.
Not intentional.
You intentionally went up to bed.
I didn't intentionally
left
go to
him.
bed because I'm thinking, okay,
Hold
good,
on,
he can
hold
get
on.
out.
How did you not intentionally go to bed? You said you went upstairs and got into bed. That's intentionally going to bed.
Waiting for him.
And he doesn't come, but you don't go down to check on him.
So I happen to go to sleep. When I say go to sleep,
And what do you
doze
normally do
off
when
or
you go
whatever
to
you're
bed?
gonna do.
What do you normally do when you go to bed?
What do you mean?
What is a bed for? Going to sleep.
Right.
So you go to
But
bed to
obviously
do
you
what?
can tell too that, like, I've
You
been
go to
drinking
bed
also.
to do what? Okay.
Grasping at straws.
You kept telling us, hey, I wasn't intoxicated. I wasn't this. I wasn't that.
Being drunk and intoxicated, which, yes, you
Okay.
can tell that I had been drinking, but
Okay. So if you weren't intoxicated, then why would you ever leave somebody in a suitcase that's begging to get out, that's telling you they can't breathe?
if I hadn't been drinking, you still think it would be the same thing? Where it's like, hop in, I'm gonna go to sleep.
She seems to be trying
Is
to
that what you all are trying
gain
to do?
control of the
Because we're
interview.
training
Trying
that?
to
She's
do
doing
anything.
a poor job
I'm
of it.
simply asking you to explain to me what happened.
Everything was fine and dandy.
I wouldn't call it
Everything.
fine and dandy.
Was fine and dandy.
Explain
You
to
all
me how.
don't, okay, for me to tell you this, again, mind you, I've been without him for a day now. I don't know, I mean, I don't know what you all want me to tell you, because this was not in any way, shape, or form, hand on the Bible, intentional.
Okay. So you just
I
left him there to
didn't
teach
kill
him?
him.
You left him there to teach him a lesson?
I didn't mean to leave him there. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You got up and walked away. How is that not intentionally leaving him there?
Because I'm looking at the hole, knowing that it's there. He'll get out and no home. Because you
And
don't.
then he doesn't, but you don't go check on him. You say you're up for 30 minutes and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even moved,
And
I
dozed
mean,
off.
you admit to moving the suitcase, like, over, so.
You roll it.
You roll it over, like, it's not like,
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't.
you didn't want him to be upside down. How do you even get upside down?
Right. You guys are killing me right now.
I just want
Kind of
you
what
to-
the video shows.
That's how he talks to me most of the time. I don't know how you want me to say it.
I'm just trying to figure out what you would expect to happen to somebody when you leave them in a suitcase.
I didn't mean to leave him in there.
Okay.
What's your reasoning for, not calling 911 sooner?
Because I didn't know what to do and how horrific it was. I called Ryan, and 5 minutes later I called you guys? Not even 5 minutes. Nonetheless, that I had to I was trying
So
to
I
do
want
CPR.
to. So 4932. I want to clarify something. I'm not laughing at George being in the suitcase. What I'm laughing about is the female detective playing that. And if you want to see what happens when you disrupt somebody's OODA loop, just look at Sarah the first time she hears George say her name. And that's exactly, she's so far off her game. She's so far out of her league. She's punching so far above her weight class. Yeah. She should have lawyered up. She should have lawyered up as soon as they read her Miranda rights. And now here's the thing. I don't see any way this video gets suppressed. Absolutely none, unless there's something I'm not privy to. Like I said, this is, like I said, completely theoretical exercise, and so we're having to take some things as true, and we're having to make a fair set of assumptions. But barring anything unseen, I don't see anything that's going to keep this from being admitted into court. But the female detective knows how powerful that video is, and the fact that Sarah says, this is going to make me throw up, I don't want to see that, and so she turns the computer and she hears it, so she can hear that voice after Sarah just said, what did she say? I've been without him for a day now. Powerful stuff. I like it. Pick it up.
I was trying to do CPR. I had to get him out and try to do CPR, and then called you guys. And then was continually doing CPR with the dispatch on the phone, where he had me count out loud to help me focus on what I was doing.
She's just letting it play.
It just, I don't know how, I mean, you can sit here all day long and say, I thought he was going to get himself out, but he didn't, and you went upstairs, and you stayed there for 30 minutes before you fell asleep.
But can I say too, like,
you chose not to ever at any point during that 30 minutes
So
walk
maybe it
back
was
down and
positional
check on
asphyxia.
him.
no, wait 1 second, because I know, like, with you all, and then, like, because you continually ask me, like, time frames, where I told you, like, I don't bother even looking at the clock most of the time. So it's like a guesstimate. So for all I know, maybe it was 10 minutes.
Okay. But the point is, you left the living room where he was begging for help and went upstairs. Regardless of how long you were there, you left. You say,
I thought he was the boy calling wolf. Again.
Okay.
So when he asked to be let out, like, what's your reasoning for not letting him out?
When I was upstairs?
No, when he's asking on the video, he asked multiple times. He asked to be let out. I can't breathe. Why didn't you let him out?
Well, number one, I had no idea it was going to end like that.
Okay.
Number one.
Okay.
Number two, just, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes or so in there. They'll give you 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes for what?
12 hours after the fact is generally a little late.
One video is at 11:12 and the next one's at 11:23, so you actually gave him at least 11 minutes per video recording. So my thing is, when it stopped, he asked multiple times, I mean, why? Why did you not let him out? It's just a simple question.
To be honest with you, I mean...
Don't
Were you
know.
punishing him?
No. Just...
Well, that's what you're saying in the video.
This is what you get. This is
Yep.
what you make me feel like.
See, and then it's all backfired on me. Like, it's all backfired on me. And I understand the severity of this.
Yeah, he's dead.
It's awful, I know.
Okay.
It's awful. And I will tell you both this right now, too. I will never drink alcohol again.
Okay.
Like, I will never drink alcohol again. I don't care what it is, in any way, shape, or form.
But let's get back to this. What was the reason for leaving him when he's begging to be let out? I don't understand that.
What I have a feeling was, and again, it's the whole time frame thing. You all keep asking.
I'm not asking a time frame. I don't care about a time frame. He's
So,
in the bag saying, I can't breathe.
My God.
And you say, fuck you.
For the whole few minutes that he was in there,
Minimum 11, but yes, go ahead. It's a few. 11, minimum.
For the one video.
Well, in between the two videos, it's
Between the
11
two videos?
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was the question again?
When he's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe, let me out, and you say, fuck you, why don't you just let him out? What are you trying to prove to him? There was obviously something in your head that you were thinking of when he was asking to be let out, and you're like, no,
Again, it's the
no.
boy calling wolf.
Okay, but where
See that
where does this game
hesitation
end?
there?
I don't, you
Nope.
say this is a game, you got somebody in
Obviously,
there.
like, the wrong way.
I'll stop there.
What was your
5340.
intention for leaving it?
So that was a good question. Were you punishing him? A big breath, like she had to catch herself, and then she, man, there's a lot of good stuff to be learned about interview and interrogation, facial expressions, body language that can be learned from watching videos like this. And you're going to see some good stuff and you're going to see some bad stuff. And earlier today, while I was trying to figure out the videos and I was checking out my YouTube channel, I saw the behavior panel did something on this, and the title of the video was like, "Is this the worst interrogation ever?" or something. And in context, I'm thinking maybe they were talking about Sarah Boone and not about the detectives. I didn't watch it. I didn't want to be biased in my opinion or anything, but the whole point of interview and interrogation is it's fact finding and it's trying to determine culpability. There are a lot of things in this video that are not going to play well to a jury. I'm going to pick it up at 5340.
And it's not fair. It is not fair. You guys are trying to, again, he's in there. Night, night.
That's what
Well,
happened.
she gets snippy.
No.
That's absolutely what happened.
Intentionally.
How's it not? You got up off the couch, walked up a flight of stairs, and got in your bed.
Thinking he was going to get out.
And he didn't, and you still didn't go down and check
And it's
on
the
him.
whole 30 minutes.
5403. Given that alcohol is not generally a staple in most prison commissaries, she's telling the truth. I mean, alcohol can be made in the prison system. I mean, it's rare and it's pretty controlled, but so it's almost like she's always finding something to blame. There's always some outside influence that has nothing to do with Sarah. It's alcohol. It's his family. Um, it's everybody around me. It's all these circumstances. It's everything is against us, but it has nothing to do with me or my actions. And lack of personal accountability is a trait that you would expect to see in a narcissist. So you know what? Those of you who referred to her as that, you are not wrong, and you have certainly done your homework. So you know what? Gold star for y'all. So let's pick it up.
I don't care about
whatever. It's like, for all I know, it's 10 minutes.
He's begging for his life. He's begging for his life, telling you he can't breathe.
I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I don't. I didn't intentionally mean for this to happen.
But you
Then what
can't
did you
tell us
intend?
why you left him in there and went upstairs. That's my only issue. Like, what am I supposed to write? What do I write?
So my thing is, though, it's what I have a feeling is I went upstairs and just hit the bed kind of thing.
Minimum.
But, again, I'm thinking, he'll be up here any minute. But then I go out.
But my question is, why didn't you just let him out prior to going up?
I don't know why.
He's begging to be let out. He's not laughing. He's not having fun.
Right,
You said this was supposed to be fun. You were laughing before. Before you said he was laughing, you were laughing, you went upstairs, he had his fingers out of the bag and he was playing. Well, obviously that's not the case.
So are you guys, so what is it you're trying to, like...
We're just trying to figure out why.
Why? What?
Why?
What was the motivation for leaving him in the bag?
Why he was left in the bag? Why the
I
video?
didn't have any motivation. It was he and I having a great day, fooling around and being stupid, and apparently me going upstairs and hitting the bed, not going to sleep, where it's like, I'm tired now, I'm going to go to sleep.
That's excluding, that's a good analogy for the day, excluding the fact that he's got a bump on the back of his head, a bump on the front of his head, and his lip is busted, and he has a bump on his eye.
I don't know what you all want me to tell you. Like, this is not fair at all.
I'm going to stop it right there. So in that last portion, you can see how the detectives are starting to scoot toward her a little bit, and it's man, it's this video is wild. Like I had no idea. I completely see why people are so focused on this case. But I'm gonna stop right here. That leaves me 1 hour on this other side to do another video because it's this bad 55 minutes 49 seconds in. I can only assume it's not going to get any better. And so, like I said, I think we'll put a pin in it, and we'll break this up into two videos. So this will wrap up part one of the interrogation. Y'all, I hope you can kind of see how watching these videos is good training for budding investigators, and they did a good job. That first 20-30 minutes of the video is they're locking her into a story, and once they've got her pretty much committed to a story, which I think we can all agree was kind of everywhere, once they got her locked into that story, they hit her with that provable lie, the video that she had no idea had gotten on her phone, and then she tried to blame it on everything. It was the alcohol. All of these things start coming out of the woodwork, and when you're sitting here and you're watching her, you're just starting to see that the more she's not believed, the more agitated she gets, and I think the easier it is to see who she really is. So anyway, y'all, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Um, I hope you found this video as interesting as I did. I can't speak for the rest of the video so far, and I'm not going to watch it. I want to have off the cuff reactions to everything that's going on. But I think the detectives in this case did a phenomenal job. Um, if they could have done anything better, I don't know what it would have been. And as far as Sarah Boone, man, uh, there are 8 lawyers in Florida who are just hearing the bells of freedom right now because they dodged a bullet. Y'all, I'm Derek Judd for Cowboy Criminology. Of course, I am the Cowboy Criminologist. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.